Hi, it's the Stephenie sisters for part 2.
We're back, part 2.
We're back.
Yes, let's continue.
You couldn't keep us away. See, the other side just came now, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Yeah. See, we're right here.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway, now that we talked a little bit about some of the transsexual classifications, and hopefully maybe that gives you a little indication of where you fall in this overall spectrum of things. Stephenie, what advice would you give someone considering a transition?
Okay. Well, that's pretty simple. When you're considering transition and you've done your education, never enter transitioning without going through the education. There are a lot of transsexual advice and transsexual sites out there for you to go and look at, including one of them is what's called tsroadmaps.com for transitioning. And they've actually got some stuff paperwork that you can actually print out for putting your transition plan and stuff together for transitioning. So you want to follow those steps, but there's some basic ingredients and stuff that you need to make sure that you have, and things that you need to make sure of for yourself. I've already listed number 1 of them in the first part of the video, and that is knowing yourself, knowing what you want, and knowing why it is that you want it. Number 2 would be facing the realities of where you came from and what you expect out of your transitions. You never want to expect more than what you're going to be able to have. It's always better to expect less and be gratified with more if in fact comes. Know that there's a large mixed bag of variety of changes, as well as emotions, as well as devotions in ways of your thinking that are going to happen to you in transitioning. You've never been educated for it. Remember, if you're going from being male to female, you've never been educated along what you need to do as far as taking care of yourself as a female. If you're going to being male, you've never been introduced to what you need to go through to be male. So you want to find a counterpart, someone that you can talk to, someone that you trust, someone that can help you. I've often gotten asked, what does it feel like once you transition from being male to female? And I am classified as being 100% female right now. And my only answer to them is that I don't know. Alright, number 3 is accepting the risks and understanding the expectations of being on HRT. Okay? Know your drugs. Know all the different estrogens and stuff that are available out there. Know how they work so that you can determine which ones are going to be better for you. Know all the anti-androgens out there and how they work and which ones are going to be better for you. Ask your doctor and your hygienist about things that you need to know to take care of yourself while you are transitioning. One of the things no one told me about, that I only found later on in my transitioning, was to massage your breasts as you're transitioning, because you're going through those physical changes, you're going through those pains and stuff like that, and you're going, well, I would just kind of like grit my teeth and burying it, and especially when
Should I give them no?
No, but there are things that you need to know to take care of yourself. Ask for them, ask about how to do them, and ask what some of them are so that you can do them, okay? Number 4, be ready for the changes that you're going to be facing during transitioning. And you are going to be facing a lot of them. Now, I shouldn't say medical transitioning, because transitioning is transitioning, okay? Transsexuals go through transition, and they're the only ones I know of to date that go through that. You are not morphing yourself into something else. What you're doing is you're correcting yourself and becoming the person that you truly are mentally, that your physical brain is. So, number 5, putting your plan together. Like I said, we have what's called www.tsroadmap.com. Go there. There are pages upon pages upon pages of things that you can read about, things for you to know, things for you, expectations, all of the different experiences that you're going to be going through, because no two go through all the same changes. No two go through all the same emotional boundaries. No two have physical attraction changes. Some of them do, others don't. It really depends upon your physical needs. But trust your physical needs. Trust them. Because what you are physically attracted to is what you are physically attracted to. That's not going to change. Okay? Number 6 would be starting your transition. To start your transitioning, in general, the general practice is for you to find yourself a trans therapist or a trans psychologist. Do not go to just any psychologist who claims that they are trans related. We have places on the internet that are called www. or trans411. trans411.org, where they have listed therapists as well as physicians that are and psychologists and stuff in your possibly in your local areas and from around the world who are specialists. If you don't know one, call and ask around for a trans specialist, and or because you don't want to go in. You want to make sure they're following the W path, but you also make sure they truly are. There are some who aren't. You need to go through them and get them to recognize who you are. Know who you are. Again. And generally takes about 3 months or so, something like
3
that,
to 6 months or something.
For you to get a diagnosis of either one, being GID, which is having a gender identification disorder. I know, there's that issue of GID, but therapists still do not understand transsexuals normally don't have a gender identification disorder. We have a gender identification condition because we actually have a female brain. And that science has proven. That's why we're waiting for the new W path to be rewritten. And therapists sometimes do not follow that. So, don't allow yourself to be convinced, that you are GID. But getting that GID will allow you to get your HRT letter and allow you to start and begin your transitioning. Okay? And then find a doctor. You can't just go to a regular doctor. You want to look up a specialist. Again, you can go to trans411.org, and there are a lot of trans doctors in just about every single state. I know there were like 3 of them in the state of Ohio. But they know what they're doing. You don't want to get in with one that don't. In transitioning, one of the biggest hurdles that you're going to go through is not just the physical changes, but also the changes in your life. Know that you are ready to be yourself and be dedicated in being yourself for the rest of your life, because that's what you've needed and that's what you've always wanted, and now you're getting this positive chance to come out and be yourself. One of the most fantastic keys is earning those keys to success is overcoming the fear and the boundaries and coming out so that you can be yourself. But you've got to also come out to your friends, your parents, your brothers and sisters. If you've been married, can you come out to your wife? If you've had children, you need to come out to your children, to your sons and daughters. These are the 2 biggest hurdles in transitioning that you have to go through. Understand that it is totally normal, and the average is about 60% will lose almost 70 to 90% of their family who will not be ready to accept them for who they are. 1, because of their social upbringing. 2, for religious reasons. 3, the lack of self-educated reasons, or thinking they already know that you are. All right, number 7 is joining groups. Join groups. Look for foundations. Go out on the web, know where you're at, and prepare yourself for participating with others and sharing your experiences and your thoughts with others like yourself, or with others in the LGBT community. Because the LGBT community, we are all joining hands together so that we in fighting for an equal cause, and that is to be accepted and to get our rights. And together we are stronger. Every state has a P flag.
Yeah, go find P flag or go find
P. It's the letter P, FLAG. Okay, and every state also has what's called it's called trans, and in your state. Now, for example, where I was from Ohio, it was Trans Ohio. I'm now in what's called Trans California. So those places can lead you to local groups or help you get together with other people who are like you and get groups set up and started. So that's an important part of not being alone and of coming out. Okay, stay educated on the newest and latest and the greatest of all the new processes and stuff that are coming out there. Like I said, educate yourself on the hormones. Taking the real synthesized hormones is a lot better than taking the synthetic hormones for your body. Okay, you're going to have a lot less side effects and stuff. So keep yourself educated and maintain and stay on your plan. Only change it with someone else who is helping and working with you, so that you'll know that that plan is something that you can stick with. So we've got some bad economic times. Transitioning is not cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. It's expensive. Yeah. So it's an expensive process, and it's also permanent. So make sure you know. Yeah. So make sure you know who you are, and make sure you know why you are, and what it is that you're doing before you even get started. I think the last thing and most important of all, and we have had a couple of friends that we've lost here recently. The most important part of transitioning is patience. I've had people who have gone off the wall and ended up in hospitals and everything else, and oh my God, I just can't take it any longer. The hair on my body is not going away, so on and so forth. It happens. Within 4 to 6 months, sometimes 7 months, it starts disappearing, and you start seeing changes. Is transitioning for everyone? Is it age dependent? No, absolutely not. No one has a right to determine who is or who isn't eligible, or who is or who isn't transsexual. Transsexuals know if they're transsexuals because they have gone through the experiences only a transsexual will go through. Just like the person who's gay. Turns out I'm lesbian. Who would have known? I would have known. But in any case, know yourself and be patient. Puberty, even for a regular GT girl or GT or genetically correct guy, takes years to go through. 3 to 4?
Something like that.
Years. Yeah. So puberty takes a while.
So it takes a while.
And you will start going into your puberty stages at about the age, about 3 months into your transition. So with that, I think we've gotten quite long with this video, but I'll tell you what. There's a lot we could talk about, but it's been fun, and hopefully you guys have gotten enough information out of this to, if you're considering transitioning, to get yourself a better start. And I hope that that's helped.
So that's great. So thank you so much. This has been actually a pretty long series of Part 1, Part 2 videos, but I think it's a very important topic. So, you've got our information. It'll be down below. So, write us, send us a comment, that sort of good stuff. Until next week, this is Stephenie.
And Stephenie.
So I guess I'll have to be Stephenie this time.
We're both Stephenie.
Stephenie and Stephenie. The Stephenie sisters.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.